Hello to everyone. I am having so much fun. I didn't have a bead box. I'm all caught up. Didn't have really anything on my work table today, and the mailman came and brought me my curated bead box, and it is called Morning Frost. This is what the little thumbnail looks like. I'm not going to really do an unboxing. I just put everything out here so that you could see the color palette, because I want to make 3 pairs of earrings in this video, and I'm going to jump right to just how gorgeous this is. These little leaf findings were in the box. There are 2 of them, and they're really cool. They have I know you can't see with the beads behind, but they have 2 different loops on the back. I'm actually only going to be using one of the loops, but I just laid it on this seed bead mix. They're really irregular seed beads, but for stringing and that kind of thing, they're perfect for that. The different kind of funky shapes of the irregularities give you a lot of texture, and this color combination, OMG, it's just so beautiful. I love it. And then there were also a bunch of leaves, like open, like skeleton leaves, and really a bunch of those. So when I first took them out, I thought, oh, a charm bracelet or a charm necklace with these would be really fun. But I just recently did one of those, and they're really lightweight and beautiful. So I decided to use them in an earring. And then the color palette is just beautiful. It's going from like a sea foamy green to some grays. Look at this strand of crackle glass, so pretty. And there's 2 different pearls in here. This really pretty, like I don't know, it's like a really beautiful gray, but it's not a sad gray. And then here's that minty green, and these are gemstones. It's some kind of a quartz, maybe even an agate, I don't know, but it's milky. And then this beautiful, beautiful glass bead in this pretty mauve color, and then a richer pink, which is just a really pretty like pop of color. And you know, the same thing with the seed bead mix. I'm going to set these aside. And there were also 3 different mixes. So these really pretty barrel beads, and they have large holes and they sparkle like crazy. And these beautiful marble glass beads, I just love those. And there were even some of these little rondelles in here, and a few pearls in my mix in different colors. And I love this bead. I had 3 of those in my mix. So I'm going to set that aside, because I've already, as happens to me, I was really just taking everything out to, you know, kind of look at it and then set up to do the video. And when a box is curated so beautifully, I just can't help myself. And I really wanted to work today and like make something, but I had, you know, had all my bead boxes done. So I have 3 different, little pots set up here for the different earrings that I'm going to make. And so we will do this one first, only because this has to dry a little bit, and that way I'll be able to take some pictures at the end when I'm done making everything. And it's also my favorite. I think this is amazing. It's the color story, it's the texture of the leaves, it's that little bit of sparkle. And as you can see, the findings pack in this month's curated bead box was all silver. And if you're new to curated bead box, it's a value box. You get a little findings pack with bead stringing wire, memory wire, stretch cord, ear wires, crimp beads, jump rings, head pins, like all of that. And I do have a discount code if you're interested in getting the box. I'll put that in the description box. It gives you a really nice 35% discount off your first box. So it's a great value. And if you are newer, as you saw from the strands of beads, you get nice long strands of beads. But this box just really, really inspired me. So what I'm going to start with here is a little piece of 26 gauge wire. You could use 28 if you wanted to, and I think you could even use 24. I just happen to have this like little scrap. And I'm going to just dump everything out because I'm using the ear wires. There were 3 pairs of ear wires, 6 individual ear wires in the box, and I'm doing 3 pairs of earrings, so I'm using them all up. And so what I'm going to do to start off with is take my leaf, and I don't know if you can see this like little pointy spike. Let me turn it sideways so you can see. That is perfect for gluing something on. So I have these little center drilled flowers, and they just fit on there. Whoops, my crystal. I also have a flat back crystal which was already stuck on there. So they are just perfect for that. So I'm going to lay my flower like that and take some E6000 glue and just put a little dollop on the back of the flower. And I'm just going to get that little spike through the flower hole. Push it down, and I'm just going to take a scrap of wire and kind of clean up the back, but also get a little bit of this glue. Just make sure it's like against the flower and coated really well. And I'm going to get a little bead of this glue on my wire and come back around to the front and pop that in the center here. And then I'm going to pick up my little flat back crystal and add that right to the middle. Just set it. Okay, I'm going to set that down and let it dry. And I actually, you know, I should have done this first. I am so excited about this earring that I'm doing everything backwards. I'm going to let this set up for a few minutes before I pick it up to string. Just make sure it's good and dry. So we'll let that hang out right there and let that dry a little bit. And let's jump to, which one shall we do? We'll do this one since I have everything out here for this one. So let me dump my little pot out. This is what this one looks like. I just took 2 of these kind of cone shaped bead caps from my stash, and I'm using the jump rings from the box because they just, let me hold it this way, they give you that little extra bit of dangle, and it's just super simple. A little scrap of 20 gauge wire in silver, and when I make earrings, most of the time I grab for my 1-step looper. It really saves my hand. I'm just going to make sure this is nice and straight while it's on the tool and pull that wire down so my loop is centered on that wire. Get a really pretty loop that way. And then let me copy what I did. I took one of the silver, these matte silver little beads from there, and one of those crystal barrel beads and a bead cap. And you know, I just played in my bead caps to get one that fit so pretty, so beautifully over the top. And I'm going to turn this way and put this back in my 1-step looper and put the second loop in there. And I'll go ahead and open this and attach it to my ear wire. That just helps you to get your, when you have something like a leaf that needs to be facing forward, it helps you to see how you need to connect. And I have an extra ear wire, oh, it's for my other earring. And then really simply, I'm going to open this jump ring and attach that leaf to the bottom. Attach it to this bottom loop. And so fast that is done. Look at that, it's so pretty. It's so simple, but it's so elegant, and you know, there's a little bit of bling, and it's got a really strong silver presence. And these are the kind of earrings that as we go into sweater weather, you know, maybe you don't want a necklace because maybe you're going to have a scarf on, but an earring like this just makes you really, really dressed up. Okay, set those over there. And then look at this guy. This is so fun. It's like a pendulum. I absolutely love these polka dot etched beads that were in the mix. So I have one of those. Bring in my little champagne dish here and dump this out. So when I did my sample, I cut my 2 wires to be exactly the same length. So I started with 2 wires that are exactly the same length, and using my 1-step looper, starting out with a wire that's the same length. I don't have to measure, is what I'm very inarticulately trying to say. So I'm going to come to this end and put my wire in just past that back cutter in the tool. And since I started with both of these at the same exact length, when I did that one, I put it in and pull my wire down, and here's where I'll get this, take the opportunity to get any little, anything that's not straight, smooth it out and get that wire nice and straight, especially when you have like a downward rod or a stick in an earring. You want to start out with it nice and straight. And then let me show you what I used for the little spacers. Can you see the pretty little spacers in between the 6/0 seed beads? I used, they're from this little set. And can you see, like, they are the exact same colors in metallic as this set, but these are little 11/0 Azuki seed beads. So I just have a little pile here. I do find that also with the Azuki seed beads, they are not as uniform in shape as like Miyuki or Toho. So sometimes when I'm stringing like on 20 gauge wire, I find that some of them don't go on the wire, so I put a few extra out here to work with. So I'm going to start by just adding 1 seed bead onto my wire. I'm going to copy see, that one doesn't want to go. Okay, so I'm going to start with 1 seed bead, and I'm just going to copy this. I picked out, as I was creating this little ombre from the bead mix, I picked out 2 of them so that my second earring was already ready. So I'm just going to thread it on like that, and I put one of these Azuki seed beads in between each one. Okay, I'm just going to double check and make sure that my stringing is correct, and it is. And so here's how I said without measuring. Since I started, I didn't even measure the wire, but I would say you could really make it as long as you want. But now I can just put it back in, and this time I'm putting my top bead right up to the front jaw and just let it make the cut and the loop for me, pull it down like that. And while it's still in the tool, I can make sure that everything is centered, nothing's misaligned, and effortlessly I got both of my earrings exactly the same without measuring. So it's just, it's dumb, but I don't measure if I can at all help it. I'm too right-brained, I think. Okay, and then to make the little dangle for the I took one of the head pins from the box, get it smoothed out a little bit here. And so these beads have gigantic holes and the head pins go right through them. So I had to put like a little stop bead and then these little crystal rondelle spacers with the AB. Can you see like it has that Aurora Borealis finish on the crystals? It just adds a lot of bling, and that little seed bead just hides inside there. And now when I put the bead on, it's stopped, and it's just really, really pretty. So now I'm going to come in, whoops, I don't want to forget my top seed bead. I put a seed bead there as well, just to top it, just to top off my pendulum. And back in the one-step looper it goes. Gently close. My bead is up against the front jaw. Also, I'm as close to this back plate as I can get. These head pins are pretty heavy gauge wire, so the one-step looper sometimes doesn't perform really well if the wire's too thick or too thin, but you know, it did okay that time. And I am just going to come right here and open this and attach it to the bottom of my downward, my rod, my beaded rod or stick, and just make sure everything is straight. And now very simply it gets attached, whoops, wrong way, gets attached to the little ear wire. And so, you know, the speed in which I made this and the simplicity is not indicative of the beauty, because to me these are stunning. These are like winter party earrings, just any little sweater. Oh, you know what, you guys, I just realized, I was like, how come my length is not right? I did use one of the jump rings here. I love to add my dangles, so there's a case in point. You can totally use the simple loops and attach one simple loop to the next, and it's okay, but I am going to open this and close it back and get one of the jump rings from the box. I really love that little O, that little circle right there. And you'll see, you just get a little bit more dangle. It does add a little bit of length to the piece, but it's just so pretty with a jump ring. I do, my designs are most of the time jump ring heavy. Let's put that on and I'll show you the difference. Look at that. It's so much more dangly, and it just separates the little ball dangle from the downward stick. You know, it's just so beautiful. So simple, but absolutely wonderful. Okay, second pair done. Let me clean up my seed beads and put them back in their little house. Okay, let's see if my E6000 is set up. Yep, it's set up enough. I wouldn't wear these now, but it's set up enough that I can do my stringing. So I put my wire through the leaf directly, no jump ring, nothing. And then I have this little pattern here, and again, I brought in some seed beads from my stash, and I'll show you what they are. These are quite uniform. What did I do with them? These are pretty uniform. These are 8/0 metallic silver seed beads, check seed beads, and they're a little bit, you know, they're pretty uniform. So they look nice as a spacer in between the 6/0 seed beads that are, you know, a little bit uneven. And I did the same ombre, like I didn't really go light to dark. I just did like an ombre. So I put those really opaque purple ones on, and then a silver 8/0 seed bead. And then my next one was one of these more glassy lilac colored seed beads, and then again separated that with an 8/0 seed bead. And my next one was this sky blue, and again a seed bead in 8/0. And then my last one was this steel blue, kind of metallic, and no seed bead at the top, because I'm going to create a circle here. So I'm just going to really gently like pull this. I usually put it between my thumb and finger and just pull from side to side, so that way I'm not kinking my wire, but I'm creating that pretty circle, and just pull it together. And I'm just going to get a little twist in there just to hold it. And the best thing that I have found, I'm going to get my smaller pliers. Best way that I have found to make this nice and neat is to get my pliers in here and grab the two wires, and I'm pulling the pliers down toward my ring, and then from here, you know, I can like sculpt my ring a little bit, and with the pliers in there, I'm gonna just get a couple of little twists started just like that, and then bring these wires together. So my ring is, let me just hand sculpt a little bit. My ring is in there and it's nice and round. And then I'm going to take my nylon jaw pliers and put my two wires in the nylon jaw, and I'm going to twist my earring and just hold gently, and I'm gently pulling my plier away from my earring, and this way you get like a really nice, tight, even, easy twist without twisting your wrist and maybe, you know, making your hand hurt. And I'm just going to twist. This is way more than I will need, but in essence I'm taking the two very fine wires and creating one wire that's really textural because it's a twisted wire. So as I said, that is way more than I will need, but that is such an easy way to get a really good twist in your wire. And then I'm going to come to the top of my wire. Now I'm just going to look at it as if it's a single wire, and I'm going to put a simple loop in here, but a pretty big one just for the architecture of it. So a little bit of a bend and my round nose plier, and I did a pretty big loop on it. So I'm just going to put it in, bring this wire over, rotate my round nose plier, bring that around, and I'm just going to center that loop right above my earring. So when I take it away, I have this beautiful twisted wire simple loop. So, and from here, honestly, you could hold this and wrap that around, but this is such an easy way to get perfect simple loops. So I'm going to come inside and snip right where the wire is meeting itself. And so it looks just perfect. And then all I have to do is I'm going to open it a little bit and pop my ear wire on. Whoops, wrong way. And then I'm just going to close that simple loop and get down here at the base and just work hard and make sure that it's connected well. And look at that gorgeous earring. This is my favorite of the three. I just think it's stunning. I won't wear these or give them away. I have a friend that loves silver. Like silver jewelry is her thing. And so those might have to go to her when she sees them. She may want them. But the cool thing about Curated Bead Box is if you loved any of the beads or findings, you can use this code here. So like if I want more of the pendants, the 26mm silver leaf pendant, I can type that in. There's no code on this one. It might even be in the new items section of the website, but the codes here for the strands, you can always go and get more. So if you love that, but you wanted to make more, and you guys, I have so much left over. You can make your own ear wires. I thought about doing a handmade set of ear wires. Let's do that. I have some silver wire right here, and let's do a super simple handmade ear wire. So I'm just going to take and cut this silver wire right about there, and I'll do this is how I start my ear wires. I like to do them together. I'm going to match up my two ends. So again, without measuring, I'm going to get my two ear wires exactly alike. So I will come in with my one-step looper, and again, just past the back cutter because the tool makes a cut there. So if you don't have any beads on, you don't need to put your wire through the guide hole. So I'm just going to let it make the cut, make the loop, and pull it down so that my loop is centered And I'll do the same exact thing on the other ear wire, just a little bit past the back cutter. It makes that little fresh blunt cut, makes the loop, pull it down, and my loop is in there. And now you can take any bail making plier. I'm going to do these really swooping and contemporary, so I'm going to work with the largest bail. You can also do your ear wires any way that you want. You can put it in this way, so you change the orientation, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to close, make sure this loop is closed really well, and work hard in it. And I'm going to get this nice and straight. Do that to both of them. And what I started to say is you can actually put it in the tool this way, so it's like that, and wrap that way. And then the opening of your loop for your earring is on the inside, so when you look at your earring, it's seamless. But because I'm only going to attach a leaf, I'm going to do this one sideways, and that way I can use a jump ring and just get a little bit of extra dangle. So let me just get these wires pretty smooth before I turn them into an ear wire. If you start with nice, straight, smooth wire, you don't have any work to do on the back end of your ear wire, like straightening it out is what I mean. If you start out with a nice, smooth, straight wire. Let me do this one as well. Okay, so both of my starting wires are exactly the same, and I'm going to put my wire in so that I'll be wrapping away from me around this largest bail. And on the front side, I'm just putting the loop so that my loop is just where the tool closes. Can you see that? And I'm going to just wrap that wire all the way around, so it's almost touching, just about like that. And then I'm going to take my pliers here and bring this forward. So if I'm holding this, I'm bringing that loop so that it is parallel to my mat. And I'm going to do the exact same thing to this one. Put it in my tool so that my loop is in there just where the plier would close. Make sure it's straight, because if it's off like that and you wrap it, you're going to have to do work on the back end of your piece. You'll have to straighten it out. So if you put it in the tool nice and straight to begin with, then when you wrap, you get really pretty ear wires. And I just go about the same as I did before. And same thing, I'm going to hold this using my mat as my parallel line and just flatten that so this loop is parallel with my mat. So both my ear wires are the same. And now I'm going to come line them up. I cut my wire just a little bit too long, and so since they're exactly the same, I don't even have to really hold them together. I can guess where I want, and sometimes I use the bottom of my loop as my mark, so that I'm going to go a little bit longer and right about there. And then I can use this wire, since I started with two wires exactly the same length, I can use that to measure where to cut this ear wire. Right there. And now I'm going to take my flat nose pliers, and on this one I'll just go about halfway. Sometimes I put my wire in so that it's that looks pretty. You can do either halfway or use the width of your flat nose pliers to just kick out your ear wire. And if you have like a craft fair or a lot of gifts for, you know, teachers or family members, It is so wonderful to take a little bit of wire with an anti-tarnish coating and make all your ear wires by hand. And then I have this fancy tool. This is a battery operated reamer, but I don't have the reamer attachment. I have the wire rounder attachment. So it's a little tiny cup that the wire fits into. So I just put my wire in that cup and press the button, and it smooths out the sharpness from where I've cut my wire, and it is just a dream. It's perfectly smooth, so it won't scratch or harm anyone's piercing. That is just, I love that tool. It's just wonderful. I almost never use it as a reamer. And then I'm going to take 2 of the jump rings from the box. And I wasn't even going to do this. When I first opened the box, I thought to myself, those silver leaves would just be gorgeous, just added right to the ear wires that came in the box. Just so simple. But the other thing I love about them is you can mirror them. They have a little bit of variation, so yeah, I can mirror them. And I'm just going to do the same thing just for extra dangle factor. Open a jump ring and put it through my leaf and through my ear wire. And you know, when you sit and make a lot of earrings, your orientation matters. Obviously, let me get this on and I'll show you. Obviously, you want this leaf to be facing forward on your earring, because seeing the side of the leaf, you would really lose the design and the beauty of the charm. So doing my ear wire so that the loop is parallel to my mat, because the loop on my charm is parallel to my mat, and then connecting with a jump ring, which makes that vertical connection. And look how simple and wonderful that little silver pair of earrings is. I mean, absolutely gorgeous. I just love them. And with the openings, like if you wanted to use some little small ball head pins and maybe put a few of these beads on head pins and attach them for dangles, there's a space here that you could add something to the bottom, but I just love the simplicity of it. I'm going to do the same thing to this one. And I started to say, I do have a friend and she's sick right now, and so I didn't see her this week when I was supposed to, and she loves silver. And when I was looking at this, I was thinking she would absolutely love silver leaf earrings for the rest of the fall season. So I think a couple of these might be going to her. She loves what I make, and I love making gifts for my friends. Okay, so 4 fun, fast, unbelievably easy pairs of earrings, and the ease, and the, simplicity is not indicative of just how gorgeous they are, especially these. Those are my favorites. So I hope you got some inspiration. Like I said, I have a discount code for Curated Bead Box if you're not already receiving it, and if you use my code, it will give you a really nice discount off your first box. And I'll also link my tools here. These were gifted to me by Meredith Roddy at Beadalon, and I am totally in love with them. And I've gotten a ton of requests for links for them. So I searched for some links, and they are there. They are sold as a set, but then there are places where you can also buy them individually. Some of the Etsy sellers have them. So I've been linking them for those of you that are collecting tools right now, because I like to say nylon jaw pliers and wire working go together like peanut butter and jelly. I don't do wire working without nylon jaw pliers, so something I recommend. So I thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're really enjoying the autumn, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao, everybody. This is a gopher turtle hole, and I just saw him go inside. I got a flower for you, baby. They love to eat hibiscus flowers.
maybe not. I don't know. Normally he's pretty quick to, he'll normally eat right from your hand.
Would you rather me feed you watermelon today? I don't have any watermelon. You normally love flowers. Are you not hungry today, baby? You're not hungry. You're going to hide your face under the flower. Oh, you're so precious. You don't want to eat, you want to hide. Okay, you can take a nap under the flower. Aw.